A crew of excavators from the University of Lund in Sweden has traveled to Egypt to carry out their work in the region immediately adjacent to the Nile River. It appears that their hard work will pay off in the not-too-distant future, since they have been devoting a significant amount of time and energy to what is most likely a quarry that has been in operation for thousands of years. In this video, we will talk about a lost link to Egypt that has recently been explored by experts. Before we start the video, please subscribe to our channel and give our video thumbs up. Without further delay, let's start the video. The group is now working on discovering something significant, and despite the fact that they do not yet know what it is, they are quite thrilled about it. They have a strong feeling that it is connected, either directly or indirectly, to one of the most famous monarchs of ancient Egypt in some way, and they are looking into the possibility. In spite of this, he rose to fame throughout his reign and became one of the most well-known ancient Egyptian rulers when he was in office. This occurred during the time that he was in authority. This is due to the fact that Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, discovered his tomb in 1922. This discovery is generally acknowledged as the event that kicked off this phenomenon. The artifacts that were discovered in the tomb piqued the interest of the general public, and ever since that time, the pharaoh has been an object of people's intrigue all around the world. During the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, which spanned from 1549 BC to 1292 BC, at some point in time, Egyptian construction workers started to make greater use of sandstone as opposed to limestone, and the former could be found close to Jebel el-Silsila. There is a universal agreement among Egyptologists that Jebel el-Silsila provided the majority of the stone that was used in the construction of ancient Egypt's most important temples. This includes shrines that have been discovered at the quarry itself, as well as buildings that have been discovered at Luxor, Karnakum, and Medinet Habu. These shrines were built by the individuals who were in charge of administering operations at that location. It was widely held among the Egyptians that the crocodile god Sebek was not only responsible for the management of the country's water supplies, but also for the fertility and military might of its rulers. This deity is commemorated by the name Jebel el-Silsila. This includes the ongoing construction projects at Karnak, Medinet Habu, and Luxor. Sebek is frequently portrayed as having the body of a person, but the head of a crocodile in a number of different ways. An ongoing archaeological project that started in 2012 is currently being conducted at the Jebel el-Silsila site. During the course of the excavations that were carried out at Jebel el-Silsila, it was uncovered that the location had been utilized for a purpose other than that of a quarry in the past. In a place like this, the people who lived there included both the employees and their families. Tombs, sculptures, and even the skeletal remains of people have been discovered so far by scientists who have been conducting excavations at the site. They found an acropolis that was large enough to house both adults and children, which is evidence that the area was once home to a substantial community of people. Back in 2010, the team that was stationed at Jebel el-Silsila made yet another incredible discovery. After that point, the team that was working on the research announced to the rest of the world that they had uncovered a very rare variety of sphinx. The announcement came after the period of time described in the previous sentence. A sphinx is a legendary creature that is said to have the body of a lion and the head of a human. It has been portrayed as having these characteristics throughout history. The Great Sphinx of Giza is both one of the most well-known and one of the best-preserved examples of a sphinx that can be found anywhere in the world today. It is possible that it can be found in Giza, an ancient city in Egypt. The archaeologists unearthed a major sphinx carving as well as a little figurine of the monster. Both of these artifacts were uncovered in the same location. It is likely that the same carver worked on both the bigger and the smaller carvings, utilizing the tiny carving as a practice piece while working on the larger carving. In the 14th century BC, when he was serving as pharaoh of ancient Egypt, the country was at the pinnacle of its strength and wealth. During his reign, which lasted a total of 40 years and was the longest in the history of the nation, the majority of the nation's most notable buildings were completed. In fact, his reign was the longest in the history of the nation. Tutankhamun was just 8 or 9 years old when he was elevated to the position of pharaoh. He had held the position of kid king for a limited amount of time. In spite of the fact that he did not engage in a great deal of activity during that time, he was successful in restoring Egypt's ancient religion and opening up the temples. This occurred throughout his reign. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922 marked the beginning of his amazing legacy. The strange urban legend that the resting location of the Tutankhamun was haunted began to spread after the untimely death of Lord Carnarvon, who had been engaged with the finding. Researchers didn't understand he had a direct connection to the pharaoh, who followed him until they found the spot where he was buried, and even then it took a while. It is without a doubt going to stimulate the attention of a vast number of people when they learn that the recent discovery at Jebel el-Silsila may have been discovered during the time of the younger pharaoh. The enormous Creo-Sphinx that was discovered in the quarry weighs more than 22,000 pounds altogether. According to Assistant Mission Director John Ward, who spoke with Live Science about the discovery, it seems to be comparable to previous sculptures that were discovered in the Temple of Kansu, which is located near Jebel El. All of this was about this new find. Use the comments to tell us what you think about this finding. If you like the video, click the like button and share with your friends about. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell button to get updates regularly. Thanks for coming to watch. See you all at the next video.